Hi, I'm Sriram. I'm going to walk you through Joojip, and at the end of this video, I'm hoping that you'll be able to get started easily. So, assuming you've already registered and you have a login created, I'm going to click on login now and give a sample login. So this is where it will land. So Joojip, so there are three major tabs: streams, visuals, and documentation. Documentation is where you'll find most of the information about creation of streams and what else you can do with Joojip. And you can keep it open at all times in a separate tab and keep referring to it whenever you get stuck or whenever you need help. And in terms of the streams, streams is just a data source. It's just a data source, or any form of data is a stream, is referred to as a stream. And you have visuals where you actually create the dashboard, add new widgets and all that. So you use the streams to create custom analytics, basically transform the data from your raw stream to derived stream, and then take it to the visuals to actually plot them and present them in a nice manner in the dashboard. So there are two types of streams, raw and derived. You cannot create a derived stream without having created a raw stream. Um, Here I have created a test, which is a stream, which is just for testing purpose, but I'm not going to use that for this demo. But typically you'll have both of them will be zero initially to start with. And you cannot start creating a derived stream without having a raw stream. Derived stream has to be derived from a raw stream. So you click on the plus. You can have a I'm just going to give you a test name, and then you click on raw stream. So basically there are four different options to perform analytics here. So the first one is CSV upload, which is what I'm going to show for this demo. You basically, what this means is you have some sample data which is sitting in your laptop or desktop or in a known location, and you want to just upload these CSV files and play around with it a little bit just to get familiar with the tool. CSV URL is constantly streaming data where the CSV file keeps getting updated at a remote location available on the internet, and you can just give the URL to it, and Joojip just picks up whatever data comes in as they arrive and performs the analytics that you have defined. The other option is if you don't want to, if you don't have data sources available in the form of a CSV, or if you don't need them, you can click on pre-built analytics widgets. So this gives you access to our 73 integrations. I can just quickly show you what those are. You can just click that. So you have access to a lot of, you can pull in data from a lot of third-party applications like Google Analytics, Mixpanel, Alexa, YouTube. You just need to give your account details and it will automatically pull in data from there. So it's categorized as advertising, blogging applications, email, monitoring. So you can monitor your AWS cloud. You can, you know, get from your Zendesk data, get from web analytics from Alexa, Chartbeat. You can do a whole bunch of things, and you can have all of these side by side. I'll get back to this towards the end of this demo. So now, if I have a couple of raw streams in the form of a CSV, and these are delivery. This is from a delivery logistics sample set. So I'll show you the data. So there are two different CSV files that I'm looking at here, delivery 1 and delivery 2. Delivery 1 and delivery 2. So this is the format. So basically it has a date and it has a whole bunch of numbers. So there are about 6 columns here for each of these CSV files. It actually has last 100 days or 90 days of data, delivery data based on truck, and I'll explain what the schema is. So the first column is actually the date, So in this case, it's Jan 28th, 2016. The second column is a truck ID. So each of these CSV file corresponds to city, and basically for each city, this company has been collecting delivery logistics data, and the logistics data includes the truck ID, the number of orders fulfilled by the truck on that particular day in that city. So if the city is New York City, so then delivery1.csv. Truck ID number 4 has fulfilled 47 orders in New York City, and it has traveled 12.25 miles on that day, and it has taken 7 hours on the road on that day, and the total order value for all the orders fulfilled on the day is $2,200. And so you have a lot of data for different truck IDs and different trucks, and for multiple days, for the last 90 days or so. So now that we know what the data looks like, the raw data looks like, so we'll go back to our stream. So now I'm going to I need to add a name for my raw stream. So I'll name it delivery1. I can name it anything. I can name it A1, for example. So I'll just name it A1. Okay. And then click on raw stream. This CSV is available in my desktop, in my local machine. So I have clicked on CSV upload, and I say choose file, and I take it from wherever it is. Click on open, and then I click on add. So the stream is, so we are still in the process of adding the uploading the CSV file into the Joojip engine, and we need to enter the number of fields in a stream, and this is editable only once, so you need to make sure that you have the right number of columns. So I know that this CSV file I showed has 6 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to type in 6 here, and I say run. You see this run and save button when you are defining new streams. So you just say run. This is almost like a syntax checker in the backend. So you get an error notification. You get a notice saying that there are no errors, so you can leave it as is, and then you go ahead and save. So now it's saved without any errors. So now I have created a raw stream called A1, which is essentially corresponding to delivery1.csv file for a particular city. The user knows, you would know what city it corresponds to, and it has 6 columns, and I can see what's going on in the preview, how the stream looks like. So this is how the preview looks. So you have the first row is actually the column number, column 0 to column 5. You have the date. This is the truck ID. This is the number of orders delivered. This is the distance traveled. This is the I think this is the time on the road, and this is the order dollar value of all the orders. So you have all these data. So this will directly correspond to your CSV file. So now that I'm done with the first stream, and I'm going to add one more raw stream, and then we'll go to derived stream. So I'm going to add one more stream. I'll call it A2, and that's also again a CSV file, and I'll click it, and I'm going to take delivery2.csv. So it's got uploaded. It's a similar CSV file. So then I'm going to just say 6 because I know the number of columns are 6. The only difference is the data and the fact that this A2 delivery2 corresponds to a different city. So let's say London, and the first one or let's say let's say London, and the first one corresponds to New York City. And now I can say run, and then I do a save. So now I can do a preview, and I have data for both A1 and A2 available. So both the raw streams have been uploaded. Now what do I want to do? So now I can I need to be able to access these streams and understand what each of these columns mean, each of these fields mean. So right now I don't know that. I mean, it's there is date. I know this is a date. This is the truck ID. This is the number of orders. But it'll be um, nice to have labels attached to each of these. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to derive a stream from A1, which is which just all it does is attach labels to it. So say plus, I'll say B1, which is the name for a derived stream, which corresponds to a labeled A1. So I click on derived stream here, and I say add. So now you'll notice that the right sidebar appears when when you are trying to add a derived stream. So there are some functions which are transformation functions which transform the nature of the stream, and there are some functions which are compute functions: count, max, min, and sum. And these transform functions are define and merge. Most likely you'll be requiring a lot of define and merge. There are other functions which we can add um, based on your requests. So now what I'm going to do is I need to do a define. I click on define. So then this whole thing pops up. Define the stream B1 by setting the fields and field attributes. So here what I do is I need to define the properties of each of these fields. So I know, for example, I want to add labels to each of the fields in A1. So I know A1 has 6 columns, 6 fields. So, and the first field I know is a date field. So I'll say date. That's the name of the field. And then the field value. Field value could be um, field value is essentially zeroth column of the first stream of the stream A1. So I'll say A1, and there's a drop down menu. So I know A1.0. This is how you access each of these columns. So A1.0 will give you the first column, and the type of the date, it's a type of it's this is like a data type. So it could be one of date, integer, float, or string. And if I start typing a date, then it prints this. So I know that my original date format was I think this. So my original date format is this, year in YY format. This is the month, and this is the date. So now I'm gonna pick this, and I need so this is my first field. Now in order to add one more add the properties of my next field, which is the truck ID, I'll just say plus here, then the new one comes, and I'm going to give the field name as truck ID. Field value is a1.1. Select this, and this is an integer. So now I've added 2 fields, so now I'm going to add the third field also. So I'll say the third field is what was the third field? Third field is the number of orders fulfilled by the truck on that day. So now I'm going to say num orders, and field value is a1.2, and this is I know as an integer. I'll press. Now my field number 4 is distance traveled by the truck on that particular day. So Um, okay. I'll say distance. I'll just say distance. A1 dot 3. Okay. Now that is a floating point. So I say float. Then this one is the time on the road. So that's A1 dot 4, and I do float. So I've added 5 fields. So now the last one is the order value. If you look at so this is the order value, total dollar value of all the orders fulfilled on that particular day for that city. So this is going to be A1.5, and I have float. Okay. So I have added labels for all these fields, but I don't know right now at this point in time. I don't know still whether it belongs to New York City or whether it belongs to some other city, um, say London. So how do I do that? I can actually add a new column to the same stream, to this stream B1. I can add a new column which essentially identifies the city name, and I can do that by doing this. So city. Okay, this is a brand new column. So this derived stream is going to actually have 7 columns as opposed to 6 in the raw stream, if you notice. So this new field value is going to be New York City, and I say string. Okay, so I've added this new thing. So now I'll say run. Let's check if there are any errors here. There doesn't seem to be, and I can say save. Yeah. So now if I do a preview, I should see this. So this is my preview, and the last one is New York City. Right? So you can look at what happens in the backend. So what all I did was this. So how it translates into the script in the backend. This is almost like a MySQL script, like an SQL script. So pass date. So it gives all of that, and then I define this new thing called string city. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more stream called B1, B2, which is corresponding to A2. Okay. So I'll add a new stream called B2, and it's derived stream because I'm trying to derive from A2. So B2 is essentially the same schema as B1. So we'll just quickly add all the fields here. So the name is date and A2.0 and this date, and then I'll add another one called truck ID, A2.1. That's an integer, and I think this one was if I remember right, it was number of orders. We need to make sure the names of each of these fields are identical if we want to do further processing with the combining these two or doing something with B1 and B2 together. We need to make sure the names are similar, names are the same. A2.2 is again integer, um, then distance 2.3 float, and I think this is time, if I remember right. Time a2 dot float, and order value a2 dot 5, and that is float as well. And then I'm gonna define a new field called city, and let's say we take London, and that's a string. So I do a run to just check if there are any errors, and no errors. So then I go ahead and save it, and now I can do a preview. So you'll notice that this is the stream B2, which is basically the same but with the field city called London added. So now B1 is data pertaining to New York City, and B2 is data pertaining to London. So now the next thing. So what I want to do is we want to be able to merge these two streams, or maybe before that we want to say we want to. I want to know how many orders were fulfilled in this data set for New York City. So basically it should be this. This is my number of orders, column number 2. It should be the sum of all of these, and what is that value for New York City. Or I want to do a merge of these two. I can do a merge of these two streams and then find out how many orders were fulfilled for New York City in this time duration and how many orders were fulfilled for London in this time duration. So let's go ahead and define a new stream called so I want to B1 to B2 merge, okay, and that's a derived stream, and I say add. Now what I want to do is a simple merge of these two. So what merge does is, I'll show what merge does. So merge will show you two different streams. All you need is the stream name. So you just give B1 and B2. And if you have any other cities that you want to merge with, then all you need to do is do a plus, right? And this will give you in the same order as you typed. So I can do B2 comma B1 or B1 comma B2. So now I say run, and I do a save. So there are no errors. So now you'll notice these. I'll come back to these two later, but for now let's do a preview. So this B1 underscore B2 underscore merge will have data for New York City first, all the 90 or 100 days of data, followed by London. And this preview shows only the top 100 lines. So it shows only 100 lines. So there are 90 days of New York City's data and 10 days of London data. So if the whole stream actually has 90 plus 90, 180 records, but we show only the first 100. And you can see the code here. This is the code that it got translated to. So it's just a simple merge 1, merge 2. So now I'll come back to this later. So now what I want to do is I want to create a new stream which has data only for which has city-wise total data. So for example, I want to be able to create something like this. Say I want this is what I want. I want New York City, um, total number of orders for all the 90 days. London, total number of orders for all the 90 days. So I want to create some. So this could be something like, you know, so the stream would look like NYC, say 3000, London 2005. So with this, I can actually plot something. I can create a pie chart. I can do whatever I want with it. So how do I create something which looks like this? So that's what I'm going to show you now. So these two URLs which come out when you finish creating a derived stream are meant for the visualization. So you can directly take this and plug it into the dashboard and you'll be able to plot whatever you want. For pie charts, you'll use the first URL. For anything else, like a line chart, bar chart, column chart, or SP line, tables, just a list, you use this second list. So now, how do I create a new stream which takes data? How do I create a stream which basically sums up the total number of orders, which basically takes the orders for all the days in New York and puts them into, and I get one single number. So basically add all of this second column, and the first column should be the city name, and the second column in my new derived stream is going to be the sum of column 2, right? So I'll create a new stream called total orders by city, okay, and that's a derived stream. So I created a derived stream. So here I need, the first thing I'll do is a define. And what is my first column? My first column is going to be, of this new stream, is going to be the city. So I do that. And what is my field value? The field value is actually the last column of B1 and B2 where the city names. So all I need to do is B1 dot city, and I get this. And I don't need to fill the field type. In fact, it's better not to fill the field type because we don't want conflicts to arise. So we suggest that you don't, if the field type is already defined in the previous stream, in the derived stream, from where you are deriving this stream, you don't need to redefine the stream again. So it's a string, so it remains as a string. Actually, it's not b1 dot city, it's b1 b2 merge dot city. So this is from the merged one. So now my second column is going to be the sum of all the orders, which is sum of the column number 2, field number 2, which is a, if you remember, a1.2 and b1.2 were the number of orders. So I'll say total orders, and say b1 underscore b2. So I want the sum. So I invoke the sum operation. So it'll we don't have autocomplete for the fields inside the sum operator yet, but we know what it is now. So merge dot 2, which is the orders, or you can just say orders. I think it was, if I remember right, number underscore orders. Yeah, so I'll do number underscore orders, and this also is an integer, so I don't want to change anything, so we should just leave it as is. We should not give the field type. We'll eventually disable these for derived streams, which for fields which already have their field types defined, but for now we just need to leave them empty. So it says no error. So let me go ahead and save, and seem to have saved, but I'd like to preview what my, yeah. So basically this is what you get. So the first column is New York City, and the second column is the sum of all the of orders fulfilled in New York City during the last 90 days. And the second record is London and this one. So now we'll actually make use of these URLs. So let's say I want a distribution chart between New York and London in terms of number of orders fulfilled. So all I do is, and I want it in a pie chart. So what I do is I copy this and I click on visuals from here, and the visuals opens. So now you can create a name for your dashboard. So let's say I create something called I'll just leave that for now. I add a new widget, and since this is custom data that you have created, so we need to click on custom, and we have a private URL. So there is an API key that gets exchanged from your data source to this one. So there is a private URL. So you click on private URL, and then you need to configure the widget. So all of this is in the documentation. You can always refer to it whenever you are confused. So I want, let's say, a pie chart, okay, and I do a copy paste. So if you look at it, this is the stream name. All I did was pick up from there. And if your data source, if in case you have real-time data or the data keeps changing, you can go as low as 10 seconds for the refresh rate. So as and when new data comes, the stream gets updated, total orders city gets updated, the New York, the sum value, all of that gets updated in the backend, and you just save it. So I've selected 1 hour because I know this is static data for now. And that's what you get. So you can drag and drop, you can make it big, you can do whatever you want with it. So this is London and New York City. So now I notice that this is not, I forgot to give the name for the widget. So let's just go back and configure. So if I want to do that configure, so all I do is click on this widget, click on the settings URL. So and I just do I give a new thing, city wise orders pie chart, and I do a save widget. So you can always go back and change anything here you want, whatever you want you can change. You can, if you want to change that, you have a new stream which has which has something else, you can add that, or you can create a new widget as well. And if you added a new city, and total orders city stream has that applied, so basically that's updated with the new city. So let's say you added a new city called Paris. So you'll have three divs. The pie chart automatically changes accordingly. The stream changes as and when the stream changes, the pie chart accordingly changes. You don't have to do anything. You just need to give the stream name, that's all. So now I go back to my streams. Now I want to see the same thing in bar graph as well. So for that I'll use, or I just want to see the numbers. So I'll copy this second URL and I'll go here to visuals again. And I'll add a new widget, go to custom, and then go to private URL. So now I added a new configure widget. So now I want to just see the table. city wise table. Okay, and I'm going to create a select table here, and I just cut and paste what I got there. And you can click on this help if you want at any time. So this is what I got. So the same numbers are displayed here. So if so, let's say I want another stream which has the date-wise number of orders delivered for both the cities. So what we did with B total orders was city-wise number of orders fulfilled. Now I want another stream where for the last 90 days I want to know how many orders were fulfilled for both London and New York. So I want one number against each one. So it should look something like this: date 1 100, date 2 110, date 3 96, whatever. So I want something like this. So how do I do that? So now we'll do, if you look at B2, just to get the schema. So the date field was the first field, A2.0. So in this case, it will be B1 underscore B2 underscore merge dot 0. And the number of orders is 2.2. Okay. So I don't care about which city, but all I want is the total number of orders fulfilled worldwide. To create a stream like that, I'll add a new derived stream, and let's say call it worldwide orders by date. And I say derived stream, say add. Now I do a define. I know my first column is going to be the date field, and it's going to be B1, B2 merge. I don't need to fill the date field again. I do orders total. So then I do sum b1 dot b2. Either I can just click on this and then it'll come, or I can just type it. Merge dot number orders, and let me just try run. So it seems to go through without any errors, and let me just go ahead and save. So I got these two. So let's just do a quick check. There should be 90 days of data with just the number of orders. Okay, so this 108 should be the sum of London plus New York on this date. I think it's August 6th. So let's just quickly do a check. B1, the first day was 41, and B2 first day was 67. So it's 41 plus 67, and it should be 41 plus 67 should be 108, and I think that's what we're going to get there. So that's what you get. So now I can plot this in a bar graph, which makes sense to plot it in a bar graph, I guess, bar or line graph. So I can copy this, go to visuals, I'll add a new widget, and custom private URL, I just clicked on add, and it's configured. I think something's wrong with this. Yeah, it's okay. So let's call it. I forgot it. Worldwide date wise, and let me do a column chart, and I'll just cut and paste this whatever I copied from there, and I can take this to 30 minutes, whatever I want, and I do a save. So this is a total data from. I think we can select the. You could also select for the last. Can select from. I think we had data from August 6th till today, till 4th, till 3rd. So this has data for all the 90 days, and yeah. So this is how you create multiple streams from your raw data that you imported, and you can perform your custom analytics in the streams side and take them to visuals in a very simple manner. Now, in addition to these, we have a lot of pre-built widgets that I referred to right in the beginning. So you can do those by just clicking on Add Widget. There you will not be clicking custom. It could be anything else. Like you can take from your WordPress account. So let's say I don't have a WordPress details right now. So, but you can pick up data from WordPress. You'll have an API URL that you need to get from the WordPress um, plugins. I can remove a widget. I can add a whole bunch of things. So all of this is part of the documentation, or most of it is reasonably explained well. You can always ping back if you have any questions. So monitoring, Google Trends, AWS CloudWatch. Um, you can pick up from your you can pick up like for example you can just take a simple time for time zone, upcoming events, Google Calendar. You can do a whole bunch of things. So advertising, if you're into advertising, so Bing ads, so what, so you'll need to link your account, Google AdWords account, to this, and you'll be able to get all the data from there. Just show you quickly. You just link your Google ad and then you can click the campaign and you'll be able to get it. You can have for blogging, WordPress, email, all this SendGrid. So you just need to link your account to this and then you'll get whatever you want. Monitoring we've already seen. And pick up data from Salesforce, Stripe. Pick up data from some of these SEO tools, social media, Facebook ads, Facebook pages, how many likes you have. You can link your Instagram, whole bunch of things. LinkedIn for your company name, YouTube, support tools like Zendesk, web analytics. You can add your mix panel, Google Analytics in real time. So all of these can be done. And yeah, so that's about it. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and please feel free to shoot questions to sriram@joojip.com, and feel free to take the software for a spin and you know, get the best out of it. And any feedback that you would give is would be really appreciated. Thank you.